next year for the Browns. So Watson's better. Watson's off suspension.
All right. Last week we talked a little bit about Shaquille, and I did some research, and I did want to bring this back up. I want to go over his overrated NBA career. This is how each one of his seasons ended in the NBA. Okay, so we're gonna go first year rookie, no playoffs. Year 2 in Orlando, swept by Rick Smits. Now remember, the most dominant, greatest center ever. Look at all these names that I'm about to read down through here. Year 3, swept by Akeem in the championship. Year 4, swept by Luke Longley. Year 5, lost 4-1 to Greg Ostertag. Year 6 in LA. Now this is in LA. He was swept by Ostertag. So in back-to-back years, Tom, what some people think the greatest center ever is, lost 8-1 to Greg Ostertag.
Ostertag was pretty good.
He lost 8-1 to Greg Ostertag.
He's pretty good.
Then the very next year, he was swept by David Robinson, which is understandable. So he got 2 sweeps. So of his first 7 years, 2 of them are respectable. He got beat by Akeem and David Robinson. Then let's look at it. Then he wins some championships after all the great centers retire, and he gets Kobe on his team. Well, it took him 6 games to beat Rick Smits. Then he beat a 35-year-old Dikembe Mutombo 4-1. Then, Zach, real tough one here, swept Todd McCullough. Todd McCullough gave him a battle there.
Wasn't he a NC State player?
No.
No. I don't think we've ever had a McCullough.
So Shaq's when he wins his 3rd championship, he was swept 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times before that. Swept, not struggled, not like I had a battle with Ostertag, Tom. He got beat 8-1. Then so after he gets his 3, the next year they lose to David Robinson and the Spurs again. So he lost twice to David Robinson. That's respectable. Oh, then we go. Now let's Mr. Big and Dominant. Watch this one. 3 of the next 4 years, 6'9" Ben Wallace takes him out. Lost in the championship game to the Pistons. Then he moves to the Heat, loses to the Pistons in the Eastern Conference Finals, 4-3 to Ben Wallace. Then the next year, he gets him a championship when he beats Eric Dampier. Then the next year, he's swept by Ben Wallace again. Then he's swept by Fabricio Oberto. Then he does his retirement tour, no playoffs, lost to Kendrick Perkins, lost to Zydrunas Ilgauskas. So Shaq again, no playoffs, swept by Rick Smits, swept by Akeem, swept by Luke Longley, 4-1 to Ostertag, swept by Ostertag, swept by David Robinson, beat Rick Smits, beat Mutombo, beat Todd McCullough, lost to David Robinson again, lost to Ben Wallace for the first time, lost to Ben Wallace for the second time, lost to Eric Dampier, swept by Ben Wallace again, swept by Fabricio Oberto, no playoffs, lost Kendrick Perkins, lost to Zydrunas Ilgauskas.
So he beat Dampier in 4 and 6.
Yes.
So he's got 4 championships.
Right.
Well,
What I'm saying is, Tom, his 4 championships, the mystique of Shaq is way greater, what I'm saying, than what his career actually ended up being.
Well, that's because he's a television personality, too.
Well, and he's the big, huge, giant man. I'm not saying he's not good. I'm not saying he's not top 15. But this talk we had last week about, hey, I'd rather have Olajuwon on the court. Is Olajuwon getting beat 4-1 by Ostertag, 8-1 by Ostertag?
Ostertag's pretty good.
Is Olajuwon getting beat by Ben Wallace? No. So again, it's the old bigger, dominant, whatever. He'll kill this person. He'll do that. But then I pull up the stats, and he got beat by 6'9", 3-time Ben Wallace. He got swept. It's not that he got beat by Fabricio Oberto. He got swept.
He didn't do well against Leitner either.
Swept by Longley, Christian Leitner.
But you also have to
No,
consider.
he did not.
Yeah, always when I look at stuff like that, I also have to consider this guy is not the one who brought the ball up the court. This guy is not the one who said, "Give me the ball," and they wouldn't give it to him. I mean, there's a lot of difference here. I mean, he's not like a point guard who can dictate what happens in a game, or a number 2 man who can predict what's going to happen in a game.
You know what is the biggest thing?
No, what I'm saying
He
is,
has to have the ball
right,
fed
so
to him.
the point of that is of pointing all this out is that his mystique is that he was this most greatest dominant thing. And if you say that, somebody's going to show the video of him dunking on Robinson. In that game, Robinson had like 30 points.
So it goes back to what you was talking about.
And then you look at this thing, like if he is the most dominant thing ever, you don't get beat 8-1 by Greg Ostertag. You don't. You don't get beat 3 times by Ben Wallace.
Give me a point guard or somebody's going to feed it to
I
him.
think
Terry Kobe was on that team.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So he's not going to get it every time, and Kobe's not going to give it to him every time.
Swept by Greg Ostertag.
I know. Maybe your coach needs to rethink of how he's got the game going on. I mean, at one time, Shaquille was only 2% body fat. There's not another NBA player that I know that's ever been in there. 2% body fat.
Well, let's not forget his free throw percentage of 50.
Yeah, that killed him. Yeah, that kills him.
That way you can hack a Shaq.
Well, that was my point of why the Bulls could always run Longley and Willington out there, not having a problem with.
Go out and hack.
You just foul him and not worry about it. You can't be the best. My point is, you can't be the best center and be the most dominant thing ever, and then have stuff like this on your resume. You can't get beat 3 times by a 6'9" guy. You can't get swept by Fabricio Oberto. You can't lose 8-1 to Greg Ostertag. You just can't.
Who was he playing for in 08?
Probably the Celtics.
Swept by Ben Wallace. It was Heat, and then swept by
Phoenix.
Ben Wallace.
He played for Cleveland too.
Phoenix was 08. Cleveland was the Kendrick Perkins loss. Phoenix was Oberto. So that's what those were. Those last 4, obviously. But again,
he was
swept. Not like
screwed
4-2. Like if you're the most biggest, dominant, hardest person to guard, shouldn't you make it a little bit harder than getting swept by Ostertag? Win 1 game. Allen Iverson, Terry, won 1 game against Shaq and Kobe.
Remember, though, when he had Kobe, him and Kobe could not get along because Kobe thought different than what Shaq thought. So Shaq a lot of times thought, feed me the ball.
Shaq is wrong about that.
You know?
Shaq's wrong about that. Right, Terry?
Feed me the ball so I get hacked and miss 2 free throws.
Which is more impressive?
Well, I agree now. That's probably what would happen.
Which is more impressive? Kobe winning 2 championships with Pau Gasol, or Shaq going and playing with D Wade and winning 1 with him?
Oh, I agree.
I mean, again, Shaq did not win without the best shooting guard in the NBA on his team, and he only beat Rick Smits, Mutombo. Now, those guys, that's who he had to play in the finals. You can't say nothing about that. But again, his wins, he doesn't have like a classic career finals win, like, hey, Shaq beat Akeem in the championship or Shaq beat Patrick Ewing. He just has none of that. None of that's on his resume. It's I beat Rick Smits, Mutombo, Todd McCullough, and Eric Dampier. And wasn't he on the Heat team that got smoked by Dirk? Was he on that team?
I don't know.
Is he still there? I can't remember.
All the years run together.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's it on basketball. Had a little fun with that. I just wanted to. The Shaq thing just kind of. I knew he had. I wanted to look that up. I knew he had some.
Well, he's better than Draymond
issues.
Green.
That's true. That's 100%
Not really.
true.
Draymond was at the game last night, and they said, "What do you do? A 4-time champion." That's right, Tom. Think of it. The leader.
He's got as many
When you look up
championships as Shaq.
riding coattails,
How many championships Curry's got? How many has he got?
Curry,
Stephen Curry.
he would have 4 as well.
Okay. Draymond's got 4. Got 4.
Steph got Draymond his 4.
No, Steph got open so Draymond could give him the ball.
Oh God, are we doing this? We're not doing this. Let's do something else.
Well, Larry Bird and Dennis Johnson.
I'm not even doing this again.
We'll be back in a few minutes talking baseball, NASCAR, and more on KDCBroadcasting.com.